Now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Morning, everyone.
Morning.
Can you all hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
I've just unmuted everyone, so feel free to mute and unmute yourselves if you need. Have we got everyone on the line? I've got Anne, Eileen, Gillian, Joanne, Kim and Teresa.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Does anyone know if we're expecting anyone else? No?
Is Caroline there?
I think she's teaching.
Oh.
I might be wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought she was coming. So.
Maybe
Okay.
held up.
I think she is coming.
Yeah, I thought so.
Do you want me to give it a moment?
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
Do you want me to give it a minute and see if she appears?
Yes, please.
No problem.
Kim, is there anybody else from your team that are coming?
Yeah, Eileen and Joanne are here.
I wasn't sure if Stuart was as well.
What's that?
I wasn't sure if Stuart was coming as well.
He's not in today.
All right, no problem. Do you think we should just go ahead without Caroline, or
Do you want me to go and quickly check?
would you mind, Kim? Thank you.
Yeah, 2 seconds.
She definitely said yesterday that she was joining, so.
I don't think she said that, but.
No, she said yesterday she was asking if we'd have the joining instructions, so that was before we got them.
Hello, she's in the middle of a meeting with a student, so I'm assuming she'll just appear when she's free.
Thanks, Kim.
No problem. Do you want me to carry on?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, no worries. So thanks everyone for joining this morning. Let me know at any point if you can't hear me or you're having difficulties. There is a chat box on the GoToWebinar panel, so if you're struggling in a message.
Sorry, I can't hear anything you're saying.
There's an awful lot of background noise.
Yeah.
Do you think we should switch off our own mics?
Yeah, so you can all mute yourselves and then unmute when you want to talk. That bit better. There we go. So yeah, thank you for joining. So there is a chat box on the right hand side of your screen in the GoToWebinar app if you're struggling and you can't unmute for whatever reason. Can you see my screen? If someone can just confirm.
Yes.
Yeah, great. So my name's Amy, so I am a Digital Solutions Manager, so I'm going to be responsible for your implementation training. We've got a few webinars booked in over the next sort of week or two, and today is specifically about the admin part of Learning Assistant. So I'm going to talk through this, and it's recorded as well, so if you want me to send the recording on afterwards, I can transfer that and send it over so that you've all got access to be able to watch it back when you're ready. So the first thing, this is your login system and your URL here. I will send all of this over to you in a minute. And for now, I'm going to log in as system admin on your site, which will come up with terms and conditions. Now in here, I'm just going to accept them for now. You can go back and read them at any other point. It's just stating that it's a licensing it offers. So for the license agreement, I need to hand the system over to you essentially. So this is asking who is going to be the main user. So who's going to own this? So when our support team or if someone needs to make contact with you, who's going to be that port of call to be able to email or phone, and who's going to be able to confirm that changes are okay to be made. So do you know who that would be?
I know Morag and Graham had named me as the person, as the link person, but is this me? What did others think? I would think so, Gillian. Sorry, could you hear me? I would think so,
Yeah.
because you've led it so far, so I can't see why you wouldn't be the link. Okay.
I think as long as it's one person, it would be fine.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
You
happy,
can
thank you.
change this at any point. You could, you can contact support and they can edit the person, no problem. So Gillian, what is your position title?
Lead DCP tutor.
Lead DCP tutor. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And your email address?
Gillian.grant@nes.scot.nhs.uk.
So this will just take a moment to just sign over, and it will load up your system in just a minute. Okay, and then this is your learning assistant. So this is the admin side of it. Like, as part of the system, you can create them as a registrar along the side to go through what each of these mean. There's a couple that I'll skip over if they're not relevant to your system, so I'll be asking you questions as to how you use it, and if it's going to be of use. And if there's anything that you think, let's just get set up for now and then go into the deeper dive at a later date, then we can pick up another webinar for them and kind of park for now, and then look at once you've kind of got used to just setting up the system. So any questions as we're going along, just unmute yourself and just shout out. I can stop at any point. But this is your welcome screen. So at the moment, we've got an amber warning on here just saying that the group enrolment has just been turned off for Easter. It's like CPD or new functionality. Amber is normally when something's just been disabled for maintenance. And red might be if we're having a weekend of downtime, if we're doing a big relaunch. So this will not always sit at the top. Here you've got a dashboard with what we call donut charts on. The right hand side here, you've got a numerical representation that suits you. You've also got here the email to digital support for whoever your support contact is. You can email them directly from here. So the two bits at the top, you've got your license, which is what I've just signed over to you. So you can click this here. So a lot of things that I'm going to go over to today, but some of them will completely fall out your head, and it's perfectly normal. You've got YouTube resources here. When you click on there, it'll open up our YouTube channel, which has got a list of how to use the system. So when I'm members of it, so you would click on here is. You've got internal messaging system here. This isn't always used so much because between you guys as like a team, you probably use your own NHS email address, but Learning Assistant has got its own internal email. It will just say secure password at the moment until you change it. And there was an incident that we had, it says 16th of April, 2019, sorry, I was going to say it's in the future. So as you can see, not relevant. You can delete them at any point by pressing on the tick, and actions is going markers deleted, and that will remove them. Your avatar in the top corner, which is this little person, this is when you can change your preferences. So if you want the text to be bold or bigger, you want it to be dual tone if you're struggling with the view. These can all be changed in your personal preferences. So each of you will have your own login, and within there you can change how you see it for yourself. Your notifications, what I would say is the first time you log in, please make sure that you change this email address. This will mean that you get notifications that you need from the system. You can make them per message or daily. If you do it daily, it will just give you a daily digest of anything important that's happened in the system. And obviously per message is every time something does happen, which you may not want. In here you can change your password as well. All passwords will be set up as just the word password with no capitals or anything. So we recommend that you go in and change that to something secure to make sure that no one can access it other than yourself. Have you got any questions on the basic navigation of the home screen and the setup?
No. No.
No.
Okay, good news. So, working on this, you guys won't have packages. You will have courses here. We can ignore packages and we can click straight onto courses. And then in here, it should be every course that you have asked digital support to load on. So core skills level 5, is that what you were expecting to see?
And the SVQ.
And the SVQ.
Yep.
Okay, I can get that chased up because I've only added this one for now. So I'll get the other one chased up for you. I'll write it down. What SVQ is it?
Well, the SVQ level 3 in dental nursing. That was the first one I sent Jamie, and then I asked for the workplace core skills to be added as well.
Okay, no problem. I think we've got that one built, so it's a very quick transfer, so that's fine. So this is your course builder, so I'll focus on that one for now, and then I'll email you just to respond with the dental nursing. So you can customize courses within Learning Assistant. You can create your own course, but obviously anything that's got a standard or the documentation we will build for you, free of charge, and you can have as many as you want.
It's not mute. It's okay. I'm on mute.
And then you'll want to. Oh, sorry.
I can't for 2 hours. Did you tell him?
Teresa, you're not unmuted.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I thought I was.
So with each of the courses, you can customize them. So where the little edit button is, you can click it here, and don't worry, this is in a video as well. Then it will give you all of the overview that we've created. So you don't need to change any of this, but then you've got different places you can add in resources and documents. So here in the top, you've got documents. This is anything that is related to the course, but not to a specific unit. So it might be an overarching qualification handbook. It might be a skills scan for that particular qualification. It's something that is overarching. And when you upload that new document, you can set it as learner guidance or assessment guidance. Now, if you've set it as learner guidance, your tutors and learners can see that document. If you've left it as assessment guidance, then only tutors can see it, and it locks it away from the learners to be able to visualise. And I'll show you where that sits just in the assessor session that we do next time. Any questions on that bit?
No.
No. So then going.
No, I'm just sorry, Amy. I'm just concerned that SVQ is the bulk of our. Is it the same principles, or is it? Yeah. Right.
Message. So he should get that done now. So it's exactly the same principles as this. It just is obviously got their units in rather than this one. So nothing looks any different with this. So I'll see what he comes back with that. It doesn't take them too long at all. So so imagine that these were the units for the SVQ. You can go in and you can edit them as well. And this is
There's another one. Sorry, Amy, there's another one missing.
Okay.
If you go back.
In this unit.
Yeah, there should be ICT.
Hiya, it's Anne here. Can I just ask a quick question? Those numbers, Gillian, don't directly correlate to the course, the workplace core skills through SQA. Does that matter, or has that already been looked at?
I honestly don't know. I just sent the one. Remember, I checked with you, and then I just sent it to Jamie. So this is the first time I've seen it.
Yeah, it's maybe their own reference. It's just F45104. Communications is F42704. I have no idea if that makes any difference, but I just thought I'd better say.
Yeah, I'm not the right person. I don't know. Does anybody else? Should we check that out and get back to?
Yeah, can you just have a look at the document that's from the SVQ and let us know? Because we just build what we've got on what's been sent over to us if it's not already. And so it may be that we already have built it and these are old reference numbers. So it's just making sure that that's up to date. So, but if you've sent the document over, then they will have mapped it across.
I checked with my colleagues and I sent the same thing to Jamie, and so I've never seen this until today. So do you want me to check just now, or do you want me to?
We can do it afterwards.
Right.
Problem, and then we can. I can send it if you send it over across in an email. Then I can.
Okay.
Then I can send that on to them, and they can work on that for you.
Okay. Thanks.
So the same principle.
Thank you.
You can go into edit, and within here you can add in more resources and documents that you may want. But this is obviously down as at the unit level rather than as the qualification overall. So within this unit, I know it's communication and not the SVQ. But if you had a unit in communication and you had some resources, documents, question papers, workbooks, whatever it might be that you use, you can upload that in this documents part. So we've uploaded the standard for you, which I can open now, which we do naturally, and then you can upload anything additional. So I'll see if that reference number is on here actually whilst I'm going into it. Can't see it. As you go. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
Great. So it's the same. It is the same principle for the SVQ. Jamie's probably having a look at it now to make sure that he's getting it loaded on for you. But as I say, any questions, then just give us a bell, and then the reference numbers, if you let us know them afterwards. Oh, there we go. Just like that. He's done it. Yeah. Skill scans, hand builder here. Yeah.
Yes.
To say, I've just double checked that unit code, and that's the City and Guilds core skill number for the same unit in communication. So that makes sense.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, Anne.
No worries.
There's so many qualifications, there's no way I could remember them. So they're all inputted for you. Again, you've got your documents here that you can upload additional. And then you have got recording forms, which is in the video. This is something that people will either love to spend the time doing because it does improve standardization as time goes on, or it's something that you'll think it's a lot of work and it's not necessary. But you can build in forms in your core qualification, and say, let's say you've got knowledge here. So you've got you might have questions that you want to put in, and then you can add in a recording form, and you can build them questions embedded into the unit. So I'd go add in a form and from scratch, and then you can build the form based around that question sheet. So I'll put knowledge questions, and you want everyone to be able to see it, and you want the assessors and the learners to be able to type in it and save it. You can put in a header and footer if you want, so you can put your logos on these question papers and forms, and then you can start adding a field. So you could add in a section break. So this section this is about communication, and then you could add, so then you could ask knowledge questions. And then you can say that I would like the learner to answer this, so you know it's them. It's part of your validity and making sure that it is the learner's work. So the learner can answer this, and you can build them questions in here. And then I'm going to say this changes for now so you can see. And you can build them up. So the learners, to answer the questions, will click into the unit, and then they will click in and see that they've got their question paper and their resources if you've uploaded it, look at the resources, answer the questions, and save it directly within the system. So as you can see, it might take time to build, but it's up to you on how much you want to work through and do that. Have you got any questions on that bit?
No, it's just, no, I think it'll just need a bit of time to process how we might use that.
Yeah,
I presume it's set for the whole, everyone that's registered on that unit will be able to see those resources, so it would be a national approach to that. It's not individual to each candidate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me...
Yeah.
Just going to delete that, otherwise you'll have something that makes no sense on your system. Okay. Yeah, so like I say, there's a recording in them resources on your home screen about before I move on to the next bit. So in order of how, you know, what to do, courses would be the first thing, and then I always say go to your people next. So the first thing is companies. So this is where you're going to create the managers or employers. Now, being in the NHS, I'm guessing, are all your apprentices internal? So are they on like boards, or are they work-based learners, or?
No, they're outside dental practice,
Okay.
so they're not employed by us at all.
Right. Okay. Great. So your the first company you'll create is yourself. So I'm going to put that one in here, and then it will generate a username for you. And this is what you would do with, say, you've got your dental practice down the road, and it's, you know, I don't know, Bob's Dental, whatever it might be. You would create them in here as a company. It's a high level login. As much information as you want in there, but this is the only mandatory. And then that creates it as the company. And then their manager and employer, if you want them to have access to this and be able to go in and have a look at their progress, be able to comment on...
Sorry, Amy,
yeah.
Just to interrupt, Caroline's just texted me to say she's there, but she can't unmute herself.
Oh, let me... Right. Caroline, you've been unmuted, so you can mute and unmute yourself now.
Thank you.
Sorry.
I know I like to speak.
So this is creating an overarching company. And then when you click into there, you can create up in the top corner expert witnesses. So expert witness is going to be their employer, their manager, their coach. And that is if you want to give them access to be able to comment on forums, on contact diary, which I'll come to in the assessor bit. But it's just making sure that you've got that access. Does that make sense? And does that make sense with your structure?
So this would be the section that supervising registrants would complete so that they could perhaps provide feedback on evidence?
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they have access to the contact diary, but they can't make final assessment decisions. So they can comment and say, like, I've seen the learner done this, and you know, they're working really well, or whatever it might be, but they can't tick that accept or return or anything.
Yeah.
So once you've put in all your companies, then you would put in your team members. So this is your team. So you would have, you've got your one administrator, which is system.admin, which Gillian, I'm going to send over to yourself. And then you can create registrars, which you can have as many registrars as you like. So anyone that needs this part of the system can be a registrar. And then you've got permissions here. And you can edit to say how much access or restrictions you want them registrars to have. So you could say, actually, I want registrars to have all of the same permissions as I have as a system admin. But you may want to have registrars that you only want them to be able to access the candidate manager, because all they're going to be doing is loading on learners, and that's it. So you can pick and choose all of the how much accessibility you want. External verifiers, so put your EVs or EQAs onto here. It means that if they're doing a remote visit, you can allocate them learners remotely, and they can go in and have a look and feed back on your report separately, but they don't need to, you don't need to hold their hand, or they can go in themselves. Training manager and work-based recorder isn't used too much because you've got the expert witness, and then you've got these ones here. So you've got your IVs, IQAs on this one, assessors, and it will show a list of all. So you can click on,
Amy?
Yeah.
Sorry, just a question. Can you be more than one person? So say, for instance, can we be a registrar and an internal verifier and an assessor?
Yeah, so I'll just put in some details here and I'll show you this. So I'm just going to give myself a login to your site. For now, leave this active, because when I do your assessor training, I will log in to your system using this details. So down here, you've got these radio buttons. So the circular ones, you can only have one at a time. So I can be a trainer and I can be an assessor and an IQA. So the square ones, you can be multiple. If you want to have access as a trainer and assess IQA and then also a registrar, create yourself like a second login, and second might be Amy admin, and then I would have myself as a registrar here. So you would have two logins to do that, but it's just how the system works, because they are quite different in the functionality besides them. Is that okay?
Yep, no, that's fine. Thank you.
So I'll set myself up here. Alternative title if you're a coach rather than an assessor, for example, and then you create and assign courses. So then you say, right, you can deliver both and update. So that's me as a assessor now on the system. So I'm just going to do that once more for a verifier, just so that I've got two on there. Like I say, once I've finished all my training, then you can delete these. Okay, is that all right?
Yes.
Great. So team members are all loaded on. I'm going to come to settings and reportings just in a little while, and then I'm going to go to learners, and I'm going to create a test learner. Now,
Sorry, I've lost all.
Can you hear me now? Yeah.
I'm hearing okay.
Yeah,
Me too.
okay.
Who's lost sound? Sorry.
It was Gillian.
Gillian, you're on mute. Can you hear us now at all?
Can anybody help? Sorry.
Gillian, could you hear us?
I've asked her if she can reset it. Hi Gillian, can you hear us now? Kim, can you still hear?
Yeah, I can. I'm just messaging her on Skype just now, waiting to see what she says. I can't hear anyone.
No, I just texted her saying I could hear her, but we're not, like, you're trying to fix it. I don't know what's happened. I wonder if it's her connector.
We'll see if she wants to log out and log back in again, and we'll just give her a second. Okay. We'll just give Gillian a moment to just log off and log back on. It shouldn't take a minute, and then we'll. And then we'll carry on. Is that okay? Okay. Gillian, can you hear us now?
Hello?
Hello? Oh, I heard her then, but. Hi, Gillian, are you there? Okay, so.
Hello. Oh,
Is that?
sorry. Hello. Hi, Gillian. Can you hear us?
No, she's not hearing. She's messaged me saying, is Amy talking currently? Can you hear me? And mine's is gone.
I can hear Gillian.
I can hear you, Gillian.
You can hear me?
Oh.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear everybody. Right, I'm taking my headset out, so.
It's Anne here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Right, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I've just taken my headset out, so.
Okay, well.
Seems to be a problem, is it? Sorry.
All right, we've got you back now, don't worry. I think so. Is that everyone okay now? I think so.
Yeah.
Okay, so test learners, you can create as many test learners as you like. So when you've created a assessor and IQA in the system, then also create each person to have a test. This means that you can go on and have a practice with the system and kind of use the logins as a learner and an assessor and an IQA to be able to get some familiarity with the system. So if you go into Create Learner, this pop-up will appear, and then you would fill in the mandatory details. So again, I'm going to set myself up as a test learner, and I'm going to do test candidate, yes. Okay, that's if they're a live learner, obviously don't press that. The company, you will have created your learner's company, so that's where you'll select here. And then password, you can just use the word password if you wish. or if you want it to be complicated for them, you can choose from a random password. When you go through and if you've put an email address in there, you will be able to email login details to the learners whenever you're ready, which gives them a link to be able to log in. And the first time anyone logs in, they'll have to change their password anyway. So this is just confirming that they want to use a test candidate. So that's yes. And then we're going to continue with enrolment. By continuing with enrolment, we can enroll on the new course and we can select what we want to enroll on. So SVQ, and then the awarding body's automatic. You guys don't have off the job standards like England, so you can untick the metrics box. It just removes that part of the system which you don't want the learners to really see. It's just another thing that they'll probably start clicking on. Add in your assessor and IQA from, it's like a filing cabinet. So primary assessor and the primary verifier. You can have secondary assessors and IQAs. Your expert witness, so that is their manager. And then the course dates, this is not mandatory, but this will work out the progression. So from here, I'll just do a year and then press submit. So that learner is now successfully enrolled on this course and they've got their login details. If you want to press email login details at that point, you can. If you want to do it at a later date, then you can do it. So to find the learners that you've enrolled, you can search by all these different drop downs. But learner status active, I've just created a test learner. I need to change that to test. So I'll click on test and press search. And then down here you can see myself has been loaded, progress here, RAG rating, and any additional information. Any questions on learners and loading them on?
Can they be done in bulk, or do they have to be done one at a time?
They will be able to be done at about Easter time. That's the group enrolment that's currently under maintenance. So for now it's individual, but in a few weeks' time that group enrolment will be up and running. So that is download this spreadsheet, put in the details, and then upload it back up, and it will bulk upload.
Yeah.
Can I just ask about the companies then? Because obviously we have individual dental practices. Will we have to load them as individual companies with the person who's going to mentor them or provide witness statement for them?
Yeah, so you create all of your companies up there.
Right.
Regarding the companies, Amy, are you allowed more than one witness per company?
Yeah, you can have as many expert witnesses as you like.
That's fine. Thank you.
So there's a couple of bits down here just to mention, and they're going to be things that you either think right now it's not relevant, or it's not something that we want to use, or yeah, let's go for it now. So these three here, so news and events, that is like notifications on your home screen that you can put on for assessors and tutors and whoever. It's like you know, this is an event happening, we're having an open day. It could be EV is coming out. It could be anything that you want to share within the system, and you just create it like a document really. So you go create news, and it might be learning assistant training is happening. I'll just do today. So admin shift on LA. And then for this, I want it only to be the trainers to be able to see that, for example. And so once I've saved that, you can upload documents as well. You can see here, It refreshes. That news has happened, and it's gone out to trainers only, and they can see the information in there. So that's something that some centres really like to use, save some email trails, and others just don't see the need for it where they are. So that's available. Forums are automatically built in there. For admin teams, it's not so needed, I suppose. You can edit them and remove them and have a bit of control, but I'll go into that more when I do the assessor training than in here. Processes is the biggest thing that people sort of want to get under the that either say yeah I love it or they don't. So I'll probably take your lead on this. So processes is a time-bound task. So it's from the start date, 2 weeks later, this should have been completed, whether it's ICT or English and maths or whatever it might be. 52 weeks after the start date, the learner should be signed off on 95% of the portfolio. Whatever it might be, they're all processes that are set by specific times along the timeline. They are signed off by assessors and by IQAs, not by learners. They haven't got notifications, so it is another thing for assessors or coaches to remember to do. So some people say that's fine and they want to use it. Other people have their own tracking and their own internal systems to do that. What's your initial thoughts on that?
Do we need this at this point, or do we want to leave it just now?
I was away to say the same thing. It's possibly a bit much at the moment when we're trying to get our head around everything else.
Yeah, small steps.
Yeah, that's what I kind of think, but I wouldn't want to skip over it if you want to dive head first. So, so there is a little video on that, but you can come back to me or support if you want to deep dive into that a bit further. So the last two parts of the systems, you've got settings and reporting. So I'll go into settings first, and this is just personalizing your system a little bit more to how you want it. So, you know, on your home page here, where you've got this text here, so with the launch of our new Learning Assistant ePortfolio, each user has got their own introduction. So you could get rid of all to NHS Scotland dental ePortfolio, whatever you want. You can make it yours. You can add in hyperlinks to that. So if you've got intranet or you've got a home landing page that you want learners to direct to, or a Moodle board, you can put in the home screen so that they're available. So you can see here it's user group learner. You can change it on the right hand side and say, right, for trainers, you can personalize it for you internally and put in your own link BQs. Other people don't like it. It's not an assessment tool, so you can make that however you want.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Is what, and forgive me because I missed the first 5 minutes, is what goes in there going to be seen nationally or tailored to the particular local site delivery course?
So it's for you, your site. So for so everyone loaded onto your site will see that.
Okay, everybody, Caroline, yep.
Everyone in NES?
Everyone in NES.
Yeah.
Yep. Amy, can you go back to the one for learner? Because I was interested in the learner declaration.
Yeah, so you've got a learner declaration and a trainer declaration. So this is just a very generic statement here. So you can copy and paste your own one into this, so that your learners can do the declaration within their portfolio on here. You know, like when on paper they'd sign it. You can have it on here, and then they sign it whenever you expect them to, which I'll go into on the assessor training.
Great, thank you.
No worries. Forms is the same form builder that I showed you in the courses. And are you all attending the assessor one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
The contact diary will become a little bit more clear in the next bit. So this is probably something just to bear in mind, is that in the assessor part of the system, you've got your contact diary and you can upload your own forms. So it might be digital review forms, it might be assessment planning forms, those kind of documents that a tutor would allocate to when they communicate with the learners. So you can create them types of forms in the same way that we just looked at in here, but that's allocated to the contact diary. So it's probably not something you're going to jump into straight away. So when we're looking at the assessor session, I'll make sure that I mention it and point it out to you there, and then you'll know if it's something that you want to start using or not. Okay. And then the final bit in here is resource library. So I've explained that we've got resources at a unit level and resources at a higher course level. And these resources are things that would sit on your home screen where them YouTube videos are. And that is your resources as a centre. So it might be your policies and procedures, your safeguarding stuff, your prevent, all of those kind of documents that no matter who you are, what course you're doing, where you're at in the journey, you may need and you may want to go back to that. So it might be appeals procedures. All of those can be loaded into this resource library here. And then again, in the user groups, you can choose who has access to that. So I'll show you that just for now. So I'm going to upload a resource. And I'll just put handbook for now because I'll delete it after.
Could we possibly put our signed educational agreements in there, ladies?
Don't see why not. In the hand.
So I'm just thinking that might be a useful place to put that.
So I've put in this resource, and then I'm going to go into user groups and I'm going to say I want the learners to be able to see this. So yes, they can have access to that. Because the learners have got it, you might want you're like, yeah, the assessors can have to see that document. Yeah, does that make sense? It's reporting, so you can pull reports out of the system. Obviously, the more information you put in the system, the more you get out of it. When you have active learners in here and not test learners, you'll have two donut charts on this dashboard. The top one is telling you how many learners you've got on programme. The second one is telling you how long it is taking assessors to mark and feedback work that has been submitted by the learner. So you could see if assessors have got struggling with caseloads, if they're marking everything within a day, 10 days, 20 days. It will just give you a visual representation, and then you can click in there and you can deep dive into the data. All these reports are set up in the same way. So you've got registration reports if you put the registration information into Learning Assistant. EV reports, so if you put your EQAs on the system like I showed you and then they've used it, you can see the learners they've looked at, the units they've been in, how long they've looked at the system. So you can deep dive into where they've been poking around. Trainer reports, how long they've been in the system, what last time they logged in, when they last made contact with learners, that kind of data. And then you've got the learner reports, which is the ones that people generally go straight to. You've got a few that has been pre-populated, but the main one that I demonstrate is the candidate progress report. So in here, when I press create, you can set up that template. So it's progress and save as a template. I always do yes because they're very easy to delete. And then you've got columns. So I would like to report on the user name, who their assessor is, anticipated end date and start date, and then their progress data. So expected versus actual progress. You've got loads of stuff that you can go down and report on. Because you're the admin, this will pull off a report for every learner within your system. if you want to filter that down and say, actually, I'd only like to see that for this particular assessor or for this particular company, then you can manipulate that a little bit more. And then you can schedule it to run every day, every week, every month. So you might want a weekly report of learner progress every Monday, sent to your email address, which is, and you want to attach the report as a PDF, or because you might want to manipulate the data and filter it, you might do it as a CSV so you can have it as an Excel sheet. Same thing if you had it as you want it to be a company. You might want a monthly report on the 1st of every month, emailed over to your employer, attach it as a PDF so they can't change the data. So then your employers and the managers of the learners would have a monthly report to tell them what's been going on. So once they're saved and pre-populated, they will automatically run and they will be emailed into whatever email you've put in. You can run them ad hoc if you wanted to, but that template is set. And as long as the learners fit into these parameters you've set, they will automatically continually get added to the report. So you don't need to go back and make any other reports other than the ones that you've, if you wanted any additional or you wanted to edit it. Does that make sense? Have you got any questions on that?
No questions.
No, it looks good.
Great. So that is the system admin part of Learning Assistant. A lot to kind of get you've got them videos on your homepage under resources. I will convert this and send it over to you so that you've got this recording. Digital support is your first port of call if you've got any questions, because they are the ones that are behind the desk and they can access your system, and they're there from 9 till 5 every day, whereas when I'm out and about doing training, I'm not on my phone and emails, so I'm not always as reliable as they are. Before your assessors sessions, if you just want to get them set up, so when I finish my demo next week, I believe it is, then they can log on and access it straight away, rather than kind of waiting around for that. So that would be my bit of advice. I'll follow up this with an email with your URL and how to access this, and just a bit of information from there. And that's everything, unless you've got any other questions.
No, thank you, Amy.
No, thank you.
No, thank you very much.
No, thanks.
No problem. I'll speak to you all next week.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Bye-bye. Thank you.